Cat here, bringing you guys another game. This is going to be a little bit different style than what I've done in the past. Essentially what I'm going to do is show only from my point of view. I'm going to explain exactly what I do, why I do it, the decisions I make, and why. So I'm going to focus on things like positioning of overlords, trying to gather information. Zerg is the reactionary race, so it's important. It's important in all matchups, obviously, but it's more important in ZvZ, or excuse me, it's more important as Zerg player to react to your opponent and know exactly what to build and when to build it, because it's a huge issue of when do you build units, when do you build drones. If you build units at the wrong time, or build units expecting to do an attack and do damage and it doesn't work, you can be behind in economy. But if you get too greedy with your economy, then you can end up falling behind just when they straight up attack you, or you can just even lose. So essentially on this map, obviously it's ZvT, so I'm going to be doing a 15 hatch build. That's just standard. But I'm going to talk about this first overlord here. On this map, this is Ohana LE. Against Terran, I am sending that right here. Even if they build a barracks first, the Marine will pop out here. Even if it runs down and starts pegging, which has happened, sometimes they'll run over here and over here. It will still make it. It'll make it to this sweet spot. I've had overlords survive with like 20 health before making it to this little sweet spot right here where it can't be harmed. And it's good there because later on you can poke in, you can see the gases here, which is a lot of information, and also spotting the early command center. So that's doing that. At 12, I am sending down a scout drone, and my 15th drone was coming down here. I drone back up to 16 because that's what I like to do, and then I'm going to build my hatchery there. So now the drone pops in, and right now, obviously, I have no idea what he's doing. So, okay, first of all, I don't see a barracks. So there it is. So it's like, okay, usually when I pull up the ramp, if I don't see the barracks, my first thought is I'm either being proxied or he's going to go CC first. But I see the barracks, I don't see any gas. What does that mean? If I don't see any gas, it means that he's not going to be going for immediately super fast Hellions. It's not going to be a Hellion expand build. Instead, he's probably just going to go one Rax expand. And that's what I'm assuming. He's getting his orbital command, and I assume that pretty soon here I'm going to see the command center. So I'm just going to come down and mine a little minerals just to be cheeky. And meanwhile, I did build my pool at 15. And I'm droning back up to 17, building an overlord, and then going back up, or then building another drone, so I'll be up at 18. So you'll see this become a drone here in just a moment when it grows up. And my little worker's coming home. Now, I did poke. I'm not going to go back and show it, but a Marine popped out for a second. I saw it coming down the ramp when I was grabbing the minerals, so I poked the tower to see if the Marine was following me. Not a huge information, not a lot of, it's a little bit of information. It's not like a huge deal, but that basically could tell you that maybe he's going to try to bunker pressure me or something like that. It's not so common with the command center build, which I expect that he's going, but it could be a proxy Rax over here somewhere. And if I see that Marine following me, that could be well, it's information you want to gather either way. I saw the Marine wasn't following me, so I feel a little safe. I thought, okay, he's not really going to be doing anything right now. The pool finished, and obviously my overlord popped at 18, so 2 queens, 1 in each hatchery, and 4 lings, so that I can go poke his base a little bit and find out. Now, meanwhile, I move the overlord in and see the command center. This is important. You need to make sure the command center goes down. A lot of times, I've seen it, I've had it done to me, I've lost to it before on ladder, where a Terran will put a bunker here on the ramp or on another map, forward, and then have a bunch of Marines there and convince you that, oh yeah, I'm expanding, and then, suddenly at 6:30 you have a giant swell of Marines and SCVs in your face, and if you don't have enough gas or anything to handle that at that point, then you're just dead. You need banelings to hold that off, and no amount of queens and workers, unless you micro brilliantly, is really going to allow you to hold that off, or at least hold it off without taking some serious damage. So I'll say that. But at this point, I'm just droning because I feel obviously he's macroing, so why would I make units right now? I'm going to macro as well. I'm getting my 4th queen. We'll actually explain that a little bit. I'm going for a lot of drones here. I'm up to 44 already to his 29 supply. So it's a heavy, no gas, kind of just get a bunch of drones. Let's get that economic advantage here. He's trying to take a second base. I don't need to take a third yet. A lot of, you see it sometimes, a lot of Zergs will, but I don't like to overextend the amount of space I have to control, especially when I could end up under a lot of pressure from Hellions here very shortly. I don't have creep spread yet to get me the speed advantage on creep against Hellions, so it forces me to have to, spin around in circles trying to defend my 3 bases when I don't have the drone count on 3 bases at that point anyway. So I much prefer, usually, to go for, droning up, saturating these 2 bases with 4 queens, and then expand. That's the reason why. So it's a little bit of an artwork or an art form with what you choose to do with the queens, and I'll explain that even though I'm not going to show it. So basically my first queens that pop out on these 2 hatcheries, obviously they inject. Immediately you have 2 more queens queued up with an overlord that was already popped out. So you'll be at about 28 supply at that time. When the first 2 queens are about to finish, your overlord should already be almost done. And then when that overlord finishes, it should finish before the queen, shortly before the queens or around that time, so that way the next 2 queens start immediately. So you can take the first queen, this is actually the second one, but you take the first queen from this hatchery and just place it right here, so you can drop a creep tumor at the next 25 energy, and then meanwhile you inject with the first queen at the natural, which was this guy right here, and then move it down here so you can creep tumor at the natural. And then this is the first queen that was at the main base, and now that he's pooped out his creep, he's joining his buddies down here on the low ground in the forward position to help deflect any kind of Hellions or just push away any scouting workers. So this is the second queen from the natural. He's going to inject there. So basically, first queens inject and then position for creep, and they become your creep queens. Your second queens will continue to inject. So enough said. At this point, 2 gas were taken by me, so I can start getting ling speed and all that jazz. And I'm getting a full saturation of drones here. I need 2 more there, and I need a few more here now that I just put 6 onto gas, but I'm going to continue working on that. And at this point, I'm going to poke up here a little bit with lings and see what exactly is he doing, because at this point I don't know. Is it Hellions? Is it lings? All I know is that he's going for an economic play, but it's pretty common for Terran to start doing some poke out a little bit with a few units around this time and try to do some harassment, and a lot of Hellions is pretty common and it has different reactions to it than you would otherwise see with like Marines or Bioforces. So right now I'm pretty much just getting, this is like just a standard build that I do, right? I'm getting a bunch of drones on 2 bases. I'm about to take a third, but I want to make sure I'm safe to take a third first, so that I have knowledge of what my opponent is attempting to do, so I know how to react to his build and safely take my third. That's the important thing. That's why these lings are coming in here. That's why I'm finding out what he's got. If I see a single bunker here, obviously you just pull back and maybe send in an overlord or something like that. This is the appropriate time to do it, because you need to know, is he going banshees? Is he going Hellions? What is he doing? And my overlords are coming down here and they're getting in position to do that. So I would probably stack 1 in. But okay, cool. Nothing in the front, so I can continue to poke in a little bit. Well, what's going on here? I see the command center's finished. Oh, look, a bunker right there. Right there? That's his bunker? I'm going to Roach Bane bust him, because I know I can do a lot of damage with it. So that's my immediate decision. Immediately when I see that, I think I'm putting down a Roach Warren, and I am going to get a Baneling nest shortly after that. Taking a third gas that I don't really need to do this. Like, you don't need a third gas to do it. But this is not an all-in. I'm not going to jump right in. I want to actually have that gas for other reasons. And I'm getting a macro hatch here for additional, just because I can. Should be injecting there, getting a few more guys. While I'm waiting on this Roach Warren, I'm just finishing up my saturation, making sure that I have, plenty of workers on everything. Pooping more creep, injecting here. Roach Warren finished, Baneling nest is down. So the Baneling nest can go down when the Roach Warren finishes, or before, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you don't need it until the Roach Warren finishes. So it's important to note that I made these overlords while the Roach Warren was in production, as well as those drones, and now I'm producing 8 roaches. So at this point, I don't know exactly what my opponent is doing, but I will pause the game and show you exactly what he's doing. So Tech Lab on the starport, and Hellions. This is awesome. I haven't seen the Hellions yet, but Hellions don't do that good against roaches, and it's just going to allow me, but Banelings do great against anything really, especially Bioforces. And so, really, this attack is going to do some damage no matter what. He doesn't have like a full wall off here. He could have put like 3 barracks right here, and it would have made it very difficult for me to get in there and do any kind of damage. And I might I would make different decisions about what I was going to do. But with the one bunker back here, Hellion play, the Banshee is going to cause me some problems, as you'll see in a little bit. But I don't know about that right now. I don't know about it, and I don't have evolution chambers down. It is the correct decision to put evolution chambers down shortly before, or like right after I move out with this attack. Would be a good time to do that. But you'll see my reactions basically. I'm going to put back on my camera, and we'll continue this game. So the roach is finished, and they move out immediately. Lings being made behind that don't need to go out yet. They can stay back because the roaches are slow. I'm actually doing a little bit of damage to the Hellions are coming in. Now, right now, two things are happening. Right, I'm moving out with these roaches. I'm producing 16 more lings. I have 12 more lings. I should always just go with my first instinct. 12 lings back at home waiting for a little bit. So I'm gonna have a lot of lings here in just a second, like 28 lings. And these 4 Hellions are moving back. Now I have 2 choices right now. Do I chase these Hellions who are on creep and easy to kill, and give him time to build bunker? Bunker. Dan, that's the appropriate response to this. No, don't do that. Obviously, you can handle this with your 4 queens. That's why you have 4 queens. Can he get in and do some damage? Yeah, sure, absolutely. But he's not going to do a lot of damage, especially when he's only got 4 after I killed a bunch. And I don't want to chase these with this many roaches. I have 8 roaches here. This is much more powerful. And if he's just going to leave these on this side of the map, great. It'll be that much easier just to crush his base. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. My lings are coming out. Now, my other decision right now is I produced 6 more lings. I might have produced a couple more than that. And I rallied them here. I did not add them to my control group. Normally, I would do that. I would make, you select your larva. See if I can get a few. Okay, I can't. But you select your larva, and then Z, and then shift 1 and add those to your control group immediately, so that you're rallying units, attack, move, okay, move here, attack, move. Those units will pop out of your hatcheries and immediately go and join your army. With these 6 lings I'm producing right now, I didn't. I put them right here because I need lings. They're on creep to chase down these potential Hellions. That was my decision. Not to chase them with my roaches, not to leave half my lings behind. I need these lings for banelings. I need these lings to follow up my roach aggression. But these 6 are just going to be there just to help trap the Hellions. I don't need a lot. I could produce more if I wanted. Look, I got $600 in the bank. I could produce a lot more lings if I wanted to. I guess not a lot because I don't have that much larva right now. But you get the point. So that's why I choose to ignore these Hellions. A, they're not going to be in his base defending this attack. I have a much more powerful army. I'm going to be able to do a lot more damage. I'm not scared of these Hellions because my queens can defend it if they really need to. I have decent SimCity here, so if he tries to bring Hellions back here, he's going to get trapped. If he tries to bring Hellions in the main, I'm going to have queens pegging him the whole time and 6 lings just chewing on him on creep. And he's going to have to do stop micro to try to kill those. You get the point. So moving forward with the roaches, the lings are coming down to join them. They're much faster, so they'll make it there at the same time, just because I've done this a few times. I know the timings. They could have been faster, actually, just because the roaches are here. The banelings could have begun morphing. Meanwhile, Hellions are going to move in here. They're going to poke, or they're going to see, oh, look, a couple queens. The lings pop out. I grab the lings. I attack with those. He's going to get a couple drone kills. My queens are coming around. Oh, look, he's trapped. The lings trap him. He can't go anywhere. 5 drone kills, right? Meanwhile, I move in, I'm just going to straight up target that bunker down, destroying all of those SCVs. The Banshee's going to start poking away. I'm going to try to see if I can kill this command center, but most likely just going to pick it up. I know that. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just move into the base. Oh, it's walled off, can't do anything. Well, actually, I can kill that supply depot. So target the supply depot, going to take that out. It brings a bunch of SCVs to try to repair. Sweet, easy kills. I still have banelings here, so we're going to try to get those. He's going to actually section a couple of them off. That's fine. Doing a lot of damage now. Right now, I'm going to pause for a second. These banelings were a mistake. I thought maybe that I had more roaches and lings alive and that I could hold this off longer. I know this hero banshee is, or this is actually the second banshee. I know this hero banshee right here is going to kill this army. If I try to run home with roaches that are slow, I'm never going to make it. They're going to die. The banshee's just going to follow him and kill him anyway. So why would I run home? No, I might as well try to get as many worker kills as I can, and I've got 19 right now to his 5. So it would have been better not to make these banelings, because I didn't have time to finish the banelings, which you're going to see here in a moment. I could have just tried to kill more stuff with the lings that were there and just let them die. Meanwhile, though, I should show this timing. The evolution chambers went down. They normally would go down with this build anyway, and I'm taking while I take a third. But I'm a little bit distracted by everything, by these Hellions and stuff coming in, and I hadn't built the third yet, I hadn't done all that. But as soon as I see this, I'm actually going to pause here for a second, put it on my cam, slow it down to normal speed, and you'll see, okay, Banshee. There's a Banshee there. Grab 2 workers, evolution chambers, back to the fight. So, and that's when I chose to, okay, yep, I'm going to poke up this ramp a little bit. Oh, no, actually I can kill that supply depot. You get the picture, yada yada. Moving forward, moving forward. So, what does this do? The other thing this allows me to do, so again, these banelings were a mistake, but the other thing this allows me to do is buy time for these evolution chambers to get up. If I'm running home with these roaches, like I said, they're going to die anyway. He's going to chase them with the banshees, but they're going to be that much closer to my base. If I'm running the roaches back this way the whole time, his banshees are running back with them. And then, oh, okay, I'm done killing the roaches. Oh, look, base. Oh, look, base. Oh, look, base. You know, potentially a base. But I'm doing so much damage right now that I don't really care. I'm just buying time. This army could die. That's fine. He doesn't have an army to come and attack me with right now. So I'm not too concerned about that. Hoping these banelings will finish, but obviously they're not going to. And banshees are doing work here. So, meanwhile, I'm actually just, I'm like, okay, I'm going to totally overcommit because I don't have a lair yet, which is not great. It would be nice to have a lair, but I don't. So I'm going to put down a couple spores, probably more than I need. I even said, I was streaming this game at the time, I even said I'm way overcommitting to spores, but I don't care. I just did so much damage to him. I just did so much damage that I can do whatever I want. I'm even taking a third behind this, and part of the reason why I'm making 3 spores here is that because I want to move 2 of these out, and I'm going to put them down here so I can try to defend this base, and I need to poop my creep a little bit better so I can just move the queens around a little better. So spores have finished, and he's going to try to move in here. I'm droning up a little bit more. I don't know why that was so low, but he's going to try to do some harassment. He's going to see, oh, look, spores, I can't do anything. I don't know. The game is on normal speed for some reason. Queen's coming in here, lots of high energy. Actually, one of these was a creep queen, so that makes me feel a little better. I was going to say, man, my macro sucks, but one of them was a creep queen. This is a macro hatch. Lair is being morphed now. I had to reposition one of these spores, and it's funny because I was like, I was saying I overcommitted, but turns out he still manages to find a sweet spot. But he's killing a baneling nest, and so far I haven't lost any queens. I'm transmuting, I'm pulling this one back. Now he's in another sweet spot because I should have pulled this spore instead of that one. So I moved this one over here, and he's gonna get a couple drone kills. Whatever. I'm taking a third base. It's almost done. I think thought I was producing another queen. And he did manage to kill a queen there because I tried to transmute it, but the banshee was right over the head of the queen. Still, not all that important. So, yep, starts targeting that, and then all of a sudden it gets revealed, and I can't click on it. But loses the 2 banshees. Now I feel totally safe. I got 3 queens. I'm going to produce another queen here, and another queen here, and just start droning up this base. Meanwhile, I will pause and show the current state of his base. I killed 24 workers in total, and he has a grand total of 35, actually to my 42. So not nearly the type of lead that I thought I had at this point in the game, but it's because the reason why is because I didn't have the third already down and going, and part of that was because I reacted with the evolution chambers. So obviously not grandmasters level player, not even maybe masters level play, but decision making is still there in its present form. And right now he can't do anything to come and kill me. So I'm going to continue just to drone up and basically take this drone lead much farther. So now I'm at 59 drones, and it's all it takes. You know, one quick jump, I produced all the drones I needed for that base basically in one thing. So now I have a huge lead of drones, whereas just a moment ago I didn't. But I'm safe. I have superior tech. I have superior army potential, and I have, you know, all the queens I need to do anything I need to on 3 bases. So that's basically the state of the game. I am producing a spire, which is right here. And 2 reasons for the Spire. 1, because why not? I can do whatever I want right now. And 2, because I can stop Banshees. If he continues to try to harass me with Banshees, it's going to be much easier to do that. But he is actually producing turrets. Obviously, I didn't know that he had mass turrets everywhere, yet, at least. So, a couple more Banshees coming out. We'll see the reaction here. I've got the 2 spores right here, trying to break down these rocks. I'm going to actually speed up the game a little bit. Nothing too important happening right now. Spire finishes. 10 mutas in production. Banshees right here. I see them with this Overlord. Good Overlord positioning will always help, that kind of stuff. So, I don't know why I moved my Ling army. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to 4A, not 1A, but that's alright. So, repositioning the spores, which should have been done earlier, honestly. Did lose 1 queen, because I'm not focused on that. Lose another queen, actually. Not focused on that. A little bit sloppy play. And now I'm out of position there as well. So, I have to reposition another spore. This is why, you know, Banshees are difficult to deal with, but my reaction could be better. So obviously he sees my mutas, he pulls back with all that stuff. I pulled the drones, so I'm going to put him back on onto the mineral patches here in just a second. I'm going to speed up the game a little bit, yada yada yada. Meanwhile, I'm researching burrow. I just started it. I knew it was about this time. So I'm going to fly in here. This turns out to be really bad. I was hoping yeah, just like a single missile turret here. I assumed you'd probably have another one here or so. Maybe I could target it down. But as I come in here, I'm going to see a Thor and 2 Thors and more missile turrets. So I'm actually going to lose a lot of these mutas. So just really ugly. Yeah, started with 10, left with 6. And I can't really do anything, obviously, if he's this shelled up. But at the same time, it tells me one thing. I mean, yeah, he put those turrets up, knowing now that we watch the replay, we can see, okay, he put those turrets up before I made the mutas. Maybe it would have been a better decision not to make the mutas, because you're not going to be able to do a whole lot besides getting map control in that sense. These lings are moving down to do the burrow banelings, which I'm going to try to do for his third. So in case he expands, which, you know, he's got this command center here, he wants to do it sometime soon. Burrow's like 70-80% done. I'm going to poop some creep here with this overload. I know he's going to try to take a third sometime soon, and I want to prevent that as much as possible. Infestation pit's down. That was already down earlier. I had 2-2 completed for melee and carapace. This was down earlier before even the Spire, or before even the, not the Spire, sorry, the mutas were like getting killed in his base. So he's going to move out here with some Hellions and Banshees. Now there's one small problem with Hellions and Banshees. They can't shoot up. So I'm going to see these guys going on, and I'm just going to send my mutas over there to help fight that while I take a 4th. And I'm going to produce some infestors here in just a moment now that Pathogen Glands is almost done. So mutas doing some harassment, going to try to kill these things. The Banshees do manage to sneak back here, but they're not going to accomplish much of anything. I'm going to pull in here. I'm going to see a turret. Actually, it's a Thor, so my reaction, I was focused on other stuff, and I lost a couple more mutas. But infestors on the way. He's going to try to be really annoying with this with these 2 Banshees here. So I'm pulling my mutas back to kill those. Got to reposition on the spore again. Put the queens here. I'm going to transmute this spawning pool so it doesn't die. Making some more units so I can do all that nonsense. Burrow banelings. Now let me actually go back and show that, and show how I did it. So obviously poop creep. Now, if you burrow a ling here, you're not going to accomplish the burrow banelings because he's going to scan to burrow the ling, and then he's going to basically see the burrow banelings. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But what I do is I'll make the 6 banelings. You can actually do it with 4 or 5. Usually I do it with 5, but I rallied 6 larvae of lings down here. And that's why I have 6 or 3 larvae of lings. That's why I have 6 zerglings. But I was what I normally do is I'll make all 6, and then I'll just like click here, and then shift click one off, and click here, and shift click one off, and click here, and shift click one off, and click here, and shift click one off, and then basically it allows you to get this like little pattern, you know. So as soon as they're done morphing, they'll automatically go to their respective positions. You can just highlight and press R for them to burrow. But because of all this nonsense, you'll see that I started to do that, and then I had to react with the mutas, which is probably why my reaction was a bit slow. But so a couple of them are rallied to this point right here, but it doesn't really matter. That's not the point. Those are going to finish, and then this whole business is going on. I'll speed back up. In a second here, my reaction will be to burrow those. So pretty fun to do that kind of stuff. Now, against Terran, even with 2/2 with +2 attack, it still takes 2 banelings to kill an SCV. It only takes 1 baneling to kill a probe. So this is actually more effective against Protoss. But not the point. The point is it's fun to do, and it's a good trick to do if you want to have learn some new stuff. So here's one downside of mules. You know, shelling him up in his base for this long. He is basically almost mined out in his main. He's almost mined out completely in his natural from dropping mules the whole game. Hasn't even bothered to repair this command center. That's pretty funny. Floating another command center out right now as he's floating a lot of money. So am I. And he's going to basically start putting up a lot of defenses here. I'm going to speed this game up because at this point, yada yada yada. Okay, so he killed the Overlord. I really could blow those banelings up right now. I want to. I'm so excited. I'm ready for this to happen. Transferring drones. Trying to see what else is important at this point in the game. I'm getting a hive because I can. I have lots of money. I'm getting a 4th base. Now I'm putting up spore crawlers and a bunch of spines because this. Now I'm starting to expand towards my opponent. And when you get to a 4th base and you start having this much bank, I honestly could put up way more than this. I could start throwing like massive amounts of lings at him and stuff. Oh, I missed the explosion. So let's see if I can slow it down. Yeah, alright, so I'm watching this right now. Actually, if I put it on my camera, I'm right here. I'll hit escape so it's actually what I'm selecting. And unpause it. So I see these turrets going up, and I'm ready to blow these up, but I see him drop the mules. I'm like, there's no units in sight. He's not going to be able to kill them immediately when the turret's finished. So I'm going to wait a few more seconds, Okay, now kill the mules. Bam, X. Went from, what, 24 to 31, so it could have been better, but obviously with the turrets going up, he's going to be able to see him and eventually kill him, so I took the opportunity to do as much damage as I could. Just fun to do, yada yada. We're going to move forward. Nothing important is happening right now. Now I'm about to make a pretty serious engagement mistake, or a bad engagement. I have an Ultralisk Cavern going down, and I'm basically just planning on getting a massive amount of ultras here in just a few moments, and I have this huge bank, so I figure what the hell. I don't know, or I do know that he put this planetary here, but I don't know that he's putting all of these planetaries here, and he has all these stores and everything right here. So I'm going to try to crash in and just maybe kill all of this stuff, or do as much damage as I can, hinder him as much as I can. With this much of a bank, there's no reason why not, and I'm at full supply, and I've got an Ultralisk Cavern on the way. I'm going to need to wait for the, or I don't need to wait, but I would like to wait for the carapace upgrade to finish on the Ultras. So I got some time to kill, basically, and I have a 4th base solidified. I got spines up and everything. I feel totally safe right now, even extra spores. I know he's not taking this base. I know he's not taking this base. I'm taking this base as well. So I'll actually back up. I want to show the encounter. So make up a bunch of banelings. I'm going to move in. It would have been better if I actually waited and got them a little bit more clumped up, or not more clumped up, but more like organized. But I'm just crashing banelings into this whole mech army. I'm just wasting everything because I can, right? Why not? Moving forward just to kill as many of these stores as I can. Now, I want to explain that this is obviously, I just lost my entire army, but he lost all but 2 of his stores and a couple Hellions. Not a whole lot that he can really do with this. Killing all of those stores was as huge as losing my army, but my army can be rebuilt instantly, where Thor's take forever, and he only has 2 factories. He could even, you know, maybe fly a couple of these starports up and make more factories there, but he's going to try to poke in here, and look, I have spines. He's not going to be able to do anything. I put this static defense up. I could fungal if I needed to and trap his entire army in there. It means I'm absolutely not worried at all. His command centers are almost finished, but at this point I'm just producing tons of ultras. I got 3 more on the way. I don't know exactly how many have already popped, but as my supply fills back up, you can see he's got 106. I have 170. I'm gonna be producing more stuff here. You know, I don't know why. Oh, this is units. Okay. Yeah, so 3 more. I have 3 total on the field, 3 more in production, making a bunch of lings. I'm just going to max back out. He's going to try to take a 4th. That's not going to happen. I'm going to speed up a little bit. One cool thing about Ultras, he's going Vikings thinking I'm going to be doing that nonsense, but not going to happen. So I see him do that nonsense. I'm going to move my army up here, make some more banelings, because why the hell not? This base is solidified. I have a bunch of stuff on here, putting up some spores and spines. I'm just going to crash in here before the planetaries finish. And I see he doesn't have much on it, so I'm not really too worried. I kill all those SCVs, moving forward. Yep, killing the other Thors, gonna kill this planetary, and he leaves the game. So that's kind of why I rushed through the end. I didn't even honestly need these infestors, and in fact, this planetary finishing might even kill a couple of these infestors. So whatever, though, it didn't really matter, honestly. I knew I was crushing the game at this point and was injecting stuff and doing whatnot. I think he had Vikings over here somewhere, too, I was reacting to. But that's pretty much, obviously, as I've said before, I'm not a high Masters player. So you can see the mistakes I make, and you can see that you don't need to be a perfect player in order to have good execution, or at least to have a good understanding of the game and to be a better player. So basically, I hope this helped with you seeing how decisions are made in a ZvT matchup like this, how to try to press advantages, how to try to see what information you can gather from your opponent and react appropriately. A couple mistakes I guess I'll just point out. A few things I said earlier that would be better. If I had gathered better information, I would have known how much he turtled up with these. He didn't have this one earlier. He didn't have this one earlier, but he had this one. He had all of these. He had this one. He had this one. He knows, or he assumed at least, that I was going mutas. Or even if he didn't know, he just wanted to be safe against that. And if I had sent this overseer in, or had an overseer, an overlord here morphed into an overseer, and sent it in and saw all of these, even if I already built the spire, great. That's 200 gas. It's not that big of an investment. Just leave it. Put down an infestation pit and save yourself the 1,000 gas I spent on the 10 mutas that didn't really do a whole lot except for annoy those Hellions. So that was a big mistake on my part. Not having a third base faster. Actually, the correct thing for me to do would have been, as I'm moving out and morphing these banelings right here, I should have taken this one of these workers and built the third at that time. So my third was much later. As you saw, at one point in the game when I pointed it out, I was only at like 42 drones versus his like 35 or something like that. But after taking all of that damage and everything, I effectively eliminated his army, as well as doing a lot of significant SCV damage. And it allowed me, once I'd stopped the Banshees, to just make 20 drones at the same time and send them all to my third. So it allowed me to get that huge advantage later, but it could have been much better executed on my part. But you don't need to have perfect play to play this game, and these are the things that we all need to work on to become better players, to eliminate the kinks in our play. But the point of this video is to help you see how these decisions are made, and how to basically know, okay, when to attack, when to do this, when to do that, and maybe some fun tricks like burrowed banelings. So hope you guys liked it. Let me know what you think about this video or my channel in general. Always welcome to hear feedback. And I think I got another game I'm going to do right after this one. So I'm going to upload that probably in tandem with this one as well. But yeah, I guess that's it for this. So I'll see you guys next time.